Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to look at how to create effective questionnaires for your thesis, dissertation, or student research project. Even if you are an early career researcher, you are still going to find this video helpful. So I encourage you to watch the video to the end and subscribe to my channel to enable you get more interesting contents like this. I want us to reflect on this important question. Have you ever taken a survey that made no sense? I've seen cases where students struggle with analyzing their data because they are unable to get anything out of the data. So they spend months wasting their time. So in this video, I'd like us to look at ways to avoid making bad surveys. Okay? So chances are that results from such surveys may be useless, if you create bad surveys. So here, let us talk about why bad surveys fail. Number one, it is because you may be asking too many questions, which makes people drop out halfway. Like I always say in my previous videos on designing questionnaire, I encourage researchers to be specific when designing their questionnaire. Avoid asking too many questions at the same time. It will bore your respondents. It will make your respondents to drop out halfway. Writing vague or double-barreled questions like, how satisfied are you with our service and delivery? That's actually two questions in one. You're asking about delivery, at the same time, you're also asking about the service at the same time. So you need to have a specific question for the service and another specific question and another question for delivery. So when you merge them together, it creates difficulties for the respondents to give you the right answer. The next one is using leading or biased wording. Like if you want to ask someone a question, you say, don't you agree that our product is excellent? I mean, you're already pushing the person to just agree on one. You're just pushing the person towards one answer. Okay, yes, I agree that your product, well, I think your product is really nice, because you are already creating an opportunity for the person to be biased. The person doesn't want to feel like, if I said, no, your product is not looking good, I don't want to hurt you. So, okay, let me just give it to you. So you are not going to get the right response. And finally, not thinking about the respondent's experience, which makes people click random answers just to finish quickly. I conclude this slide by telling you that if you design poor questionnaire or poor survey, the data you collect won't be reliable. And if your data is junk, your conclusions will be junk too. When people run Chromebox alpha reliability analysis, or maybe composite reliability and others, sometimes they struggle with achieving the reliability coefficient, the appropriate or the required reliability coefficient. The reason for this is simple. It is because they created bad surveys. So when you create one, you know that you will struggle during the data analysis. And one of the challenges you face would be meeting the required threshold for the Chromebox alpha reliability. And this is why sometimes people just quote values. Oh, the Chromebox alpha reliability is 0.7 and above. But when you tell them to show you the individual item performance, then you will now find out that they just made up that number. How do we build a good survey? The first step is always to define your purpose and ask yourself, what do I really want to learn? So the purpose of the study must be very clear. You have a clear idea about what you want to investigate. So this gives you the idea to create a better survey. 2, identify your target audience. Do you want to survey students? Do you want to survey customers? Do you want to survey employers? Do you want to survey employees? Or do you want to survey general public? You want to survey patients? Do you want to survey dancers, musicians? You have to know who you want to survey, and that will lead to the questions that should be included in the item statement that will be included in your questionnaire. All right. So your questions must make sense to the people who would answer them. You don't give questions meant for students to lecturers. I usually see sometimes when students create questionnaire, they create questionnaire for both teachers and students. That's ridiculous. One, they don't have the same IQ. So how would they respond to the same question? You are asking the impact of teaching method on students' learning engagement. You create the same question for both students and lecturers in one survey. The best thing would have been survey the students by designing specific questionnaire that will really explore how a particular type of teaching method must have influenced their learning engagement, okay, or their performance. Then you can come back and then again survey the lecturers using another specific instrument. Then you can now compare the findings. And finally, keep your survey focused. Every single question should connect directly to your research goals. Let me use this example to drive home the message. If you are studying students' study habits, then stick to questions about their study time, study techniques, and challenges. Don't suddenly throw in a question about their favorite music genre unless it's truly relevant. Purpose and focus are the foundations of every effective survey. Now, what are the types of questions you may likely ask, and how do you use them? First, you can create close-ended questions. These include multiple choice rating scale questions. They are easy to analyze because they can count the answers. Example, on a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with the library services? But there is a downside of this. It limits depth. This is like creating quantitative research surveys where you use rating scales like the Likert scale. So you know that they don't really allow respondents to provide lengthy explanations. The open-ended questions, these allow participants or people to explain in their own words. Example, what improvements would you like to see in our library service? If you want to go through this route, this is like the qualitative research where you allow participants to tell you, give you in-depth information, and then you will get richer responses, but they are harder to analyze because qualitative research requires a lot of coding and then extraction of illustrative quotes that are aligned with the codes and then the emerging themes. The third is demographic questions. These ask about age, gender, education, or background. They actually help you to group your responses. And let us use this example. You can have something like, what is your age range? Remember that if you ask people questions like, what is your age? They may likely not be open to tell you their age. But if you pose a question like, what is your age range? And then you give them an option like 18 to 25, 26 to 30, 30 to 30, something like that, people will be more open to respond to you. Say, okay, I'm within that age range. One good benefit of using the demographic questions is that it can allow you to use these demographics as control variables. So you can use it to control the effect that independent variables would bring to the dependent variables. So the demographic data, when used as control, can control the bloating effect. So it suppresses the effect on the dependent variable so that the regression beta weight that you're going to get when you are testing relationships between two variables would not be inflated. So the best surveys usually mix methods type. Okay, so like in most cases, you can have some closed-ended for easy analysis and a few open-ended to get deeper insight. I've seen students use the mixed method approach in their research. So what they do is that after creating the questionnaire, the quantitative survey, the close-ended questionnaire, then they will leave one or two open-ended questionnaire to enable them to supplement the findings they will get using the close-ended questionnaire. Let us look at some helpful digital tools that you can use to create compelling and interesting surveys. They include the Google Forms. So you can use the Google Form. It's very, very simple to use. It is free and great for students because you don't have to pay using it. If you want to learn about the use of Google Forms for creating questionnaire, you can watch this video that pops up right now on top to learn how to do that. And then I also drop the link down the video description box below. You can also use the Survey Monkey. This offers more features, and it can also allow you to do some customizations. Then you can also use the Microsoft Forms. This integrates easily. You have the Quadrix. So these survey tools, they are quite powerful. What you need to do is, when you are done creating the survey, you simply share the links. Okay, the link to the survey, you can share them on your respondents' WhatsApp lines. You can share them on groups, WhatsApp groups. You can attach the form, the link to the form, to your respondents' email addresses. You can also share the links on social media, and people who are interested in responding to your questionnaire will actually see this and then respond to your questionnaire. So let us review some best practices for crafting effective questionnaire. I always advocate that researchers keep their item statements short or their questions short. In most cases, you will see people designing questionnaire and you have up to 15 to 20 item statements. I always encourage students or researchers to reduce the item statement, because when you have smaller, well-designed question or questionnaire items, it is better than when you have up to 20. And then the downside of having more questionnaire, more item statements measuring one variable in a questionnaire, is that people will soon get bored. Your respondents will, when they tick the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, they will get bored and will stop responding to your questionnaire. So you want to keep them simple so that they will think about them and then respond appropriately to the ones that apply most to them. Okay, so I would recommend anything between 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, maybe maximum of 10. Okay, maximum of 10. Do not allow your item statements to go beyond 10 items, because honestly, by the time your respondents mark the 7th, the 8th, I can assure you that the 9th and the 10th item statement will not really come from there. They will just mark them just to move to the next one. So there's no point. Okay, then use clear and direct language. Write questions the way people actually speak. Avoid tricky wordings, double negatives, or complicated grammar. For example, instead of asking, "Don't you disagree that?" just ask, "Do you agree or disagree?" Okay? And another best practice is group similar questions together. This makes the survey flow smoothly. If I want to investigate students' learning engagement, if I want to measure, for example, agentic engagement and behavioral engagement, I will have to create the questionnaire such that the item statements measuring agentic behavior will be grouped together. Those measuring behavioral will also be grouped together, so that it allows the respondents to have a free flow responding to your questionnaire. Lastly, and most importantly, always pilot test your survey. Okay, give it to some few persons and let them go through the questions and make sure that they understand them before you can apply the survey to the main people you want to survey. So this small step can save you from big mistakes later. Now, let us look at how to fix a bad survey question. Here is an example of a bad question. How often do you study and play sports? Asking people two questions at the same time. So let us analyze the question here. The problem is that it is actually two questions in one. Some people may study often but play sports rarely. So how do they answer? Someone like me that hardly plays sports, but I read a lot. How am I going to answer these two things together? Here is how to fix it. Question 1: how many hours per week do you spend studying? Question 2: how many hours per week do you spend playing sports? So you need to separate both of them. So you can see that by splitting them into two, they are clear. They are much easier for you, for the respondents to respond to, and then your data will become much more accurate when you are done collecting your data, okay, or when you analyze your data. So let me do a recap of what I have explained so far. The bottom line here is that a very bad survey will definitely produce bad data and is going to produce bad results. Okay, so ensure you create clear questionnaire and keep them focused, and design questionnaire with your audience in mind. Make sure you know the people who will respond to your questionnaire. Make sure you know these particular individuals, where they are, whether they are the work, whether they are people in a workplace, whether they are business owners, whether they are students, whether they are employees. You must know the people you are designing your questionnaire for. When this is clearer to you, then you will know the right item statement that will be contained in the questionnaire you are going to create. Then lastly, remember, keep your purpose in focus, choose the right question types, use digital tools wisely, and always test your survey before sharing it. I hope you find this video helpful.